Hello and welcome to Nutshell Recaps. This video explains the synopsis of the movie. Good luck to you, Leo Grande. Warning, there will be spoilers, so proceed with caution. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. It will really help our channel grow. The film opens with the introduction of Nancy Stokes, a 55-year-old woman who is unhappy following the recent death of her husband and her retirement. Nancy has lived a life of honor and has always upheld the standards that society has set for her. Her intimate experiences, however, have not yet been fully realized in her life. She's 55 years old, but she's never had satisfying intercourse before. She is determined to change this in any way possible. In the opening scene, Nancy searches online and finds a charming escort by the name of Leo Grande. She hires him right away and rents a luxurious hotel room so that no one can identify her. As she has never dated a man before, let alone been intimate with a total stranger, Nancy is right now a little anxious about the encounter. However, she believes that by spending time with Leo, she will be able to enjoy herself again. The next morning, Nancy arrives early to the hotel room and makes an effort to settle down. She is getting more anxious as the expected meeting gets closer. However, just as she starts to feel overwhelmed, Leo shows up at her door. He makes a sweet request for a nice kiss on the cheek, and Nancy is immediately moved. She simply must comment on how much more gorgeous he is in person than he appears in his photograph. She brings him a cool drink from the minibar as a sign of hospitality, and they start a pleasant chat. Leo catches Nancy trembling in the middle of it and asks whether everything is okay. She replies that she's embarrassed because of how much older they are than each other. Due to her conviction that what she is doing is immoral, Nancy has begun to have second thoughts about attending this conference. Leo tells her that everything will be great, though, because he is a gentleman. He also praises her for having a fantastic body and being quite gorgeous. He even gives her an ardent kiss to cheer her up. Nancy starts talking about her past as she regains her confidence. She admits that although her late husband was the only relationship she had ever known, their sexual relationship was horrible. Because he thought it was embarrassing, he never let her engage in oral activities. Most of the time, her spouse would simply kiss her forehead before falling asleep. Nancy then makes an unexpected revelation. In her entire life, she has yet to experience the euphoric feeling during sexual intercourse. She feels too anxious to obtain one right now, so she has no plans to do so. Leo acknowledges her emotions and doesn't try to force the issue. Instead, he tightly embraces her in an effort to kindle the erotic fire she may be hiding. After that, Leo picks up a candy bar and eats it while Nancy goes to the restroom to change into her new nightgown. When she eventually leaves, she discovers him lying sensually on the bed. Nancy, though, is not at all seduced. Instead, she says that she dislikes the way the chocolate he just ate smells. As a result, poor Leo goes to clean his teeth in the restroom. Nancy informs him that she has changed her mind when he gets back. She no longer desires intercourse or anything related since she believes it is inappropriate for her. Leo is given the option to go with the money, but he decides to stay and speak with her instead. He wonders why a woman so attractive would choose to hire an escort when she could have easily drawn other guys. Nancy replies that she has been approached by several men her age, but she has turned them all down. She liked young males only, which explains why. Then Nancy shares more personal information. She admits that despite having taught religious education in the past, she now lacks direction and purpose in her own life. Additionally, she acknowledges that despite her sacrifices for her two children, they have grown apart from her. Nancy has always put others' needs and wants ahead of her own, acting as a responsible daughter, wife, mother, and teacher. She feels as though she has squandered her life trying to do everything correctly. Nancy acknowledges that her mother's lessons on vanity have caused her to be self-conscious about the way she looks. Leo reassures her, nevertheless, that it's okay to have self-confidence and value one's physical appearance. As their discussion progresses, they become more and more fond of one another. After some time, Nancy asks Leo if his mother is aware of his career out of curiosity. She questions whether he has a bad past or whether he fled challenging conditions. According to Leo, his mother truly thinks he works on an oil rig. She has no idea what his actual job is. Additionally, he claims that offering intimate services is a crucial professional responsibility. Therefore, he doesn't feel bad or regretful about what he performs. Nancy hears this and feels a little better because she knows she's not the only one who has these impulses. She then describes her most sexually explicit encounter to date. She and her family were on a vacation in Greece 30 years prior. Nancy stumbled onto a handsome waiter and immediately began making out with him. However, the approach of an automobile quickly ended their amorous moment. Nancy still has regrets about not spending more time with that waiter today. She feels more comfortable as she divulges more personal details about her history. As soon as Leo realizes this, he kisses her hard. Unexpectedly, Nancy becomes enthusiastic about it and eventually gives in to her feelings. The two then enjoy a beautiful lovemaking session while making out. Leo is invited back to the same room a few days later by Nancy after getting in touch with him once more. She didn't invite anyone else because she was so happy with Leo's prior assistance. As soon as he gets there, Nancy hands him a list of first-time erotic encounters she wants to explore. It includes having oral relations. Leo observes that Nancy deliberately crossed the item having an O or experiencing sexual euphoria off the list. When questioned about it, she responds that she wishes to proceed gradually. Sadly, Nancy is once more reluctant to approach Leo. When her extremely dependent daughter calls, the situation worsens and she becomes even more anxious. Thankfully, Leo is there to assist her in unwinding. He massages her and even dances with her to help her unwind. She is cautioned by Leo not to put undue pressure on herself to satisfy all of her desires in a single night. Leo finally discusses his own family when Nancy laments about giving up her youth and wasted opportunities for her family. He admits having a younger sibling who is in the military. But these days, they hardly ever converse. After some time, Leo advises that Nancy schedule additional appointments with him so that he might assist her in lowering her stress. Unfortunately, this offends Nancy, as she believes that he is only here for the money. Leo quickly defends himself by expressing that he genuinely cares for her well-being. Hearing this, Nancy can't help but wonder why someone as charismatic as him would choose to work in this field and what kind of difficult circumstances led him to do it. Nancy holds outdated beliefs about sex workers, which are commonly held misconceptions. However, Leo disputes her assumptions by claiming that he genuinely enjoys his work. He is not ashamed of what he does because he understands that it can bring happiness and benefit to others. Additionally, his job occasionally entails more than just sexual activity. Women have contacted him about getting massages, setting up real dates with him, and even hiring him to cook for them. Nancy becomes enthused as he continues to describe his line of work and starts having oral sex with him. This gives her more self-assurance, and they conceive a child together once more. Leo and Nancy are in the same room for their third appointment in the following scenario. They have a great time experimenting with various poses and maneuvers. Their friendship gets stronger with each passing second, as they fulfill many of Nancy's wish list items. Nancy still doesn't have sexual euphoria, though. Nancy becomes intrigued after the romance session is ended and tries to delve into Leo's personal life in order to learn more. He adamantly declines, saying that his only responsibility is to create imagination and nothing else. Nancy's curiosity, however, overcomes her and she starts looking into Leo's interactions with his family in spite of his obvious boundaries. Nancy acknowledges that she stalked Leo online and found out his real name was Connor. She says she'd like to hang out with Leo outside of their meetings and counsels him to talk to his family about his profession. Sadly, he feels enraged by this breach of privacy. He swiftly changes back into his clothes as a result and furiously instructs her not to book him again. Additionally, he threatens to disclose her as a customer if she contacts his family or shares any of his personal information. After that, Leo storms out of the room but later comes back in to get his phone. He confronts Nancy about his tense connection with his mother while searching for it. He says that at the age of 15, his mother abandoned him because she hated who he was, even going so far as to tell others he had passed away. Leo expresses his annoyance at Nancy's assumptions when she inquires as to what he did to his mother, making him even angry. After saying this, he permanently exits the room. A few days later, Nancy schedules Leo for a fourth session as a final farewell and apology, but she specifies that they meet in a cafe this time. She runs across Becky, a former pupil now employed as a waitress in the same cafe, while she is waiting. Leo shows up as they are conversing, which causes Nancy to make up that they are there on business. After taking their order, the waitress departs to give the couple some privacy. Nancy uses this chance to apologize to Leo right away. Susan Robinson is revealed as her real identity, and she thanks him for giving her the confidence to explore her sexuality. Nancy also states that she has referred Leo's services to other women in her social circle who she feels might similarly profit from his help. Leo is pleased after learning all of this and quickly pardons her. He then admits that his mother abandoned him after discovering him engaging in group coitus with his friends. His mother wouldn't even recognize him when they recently ran into each other in the street. Leo adds that his sibling has been told about his profession and is okay with it. Then Becky cuts them off and says that Nancy used to be a terrible instructor. Simply because the pupils were dressed in shorts, she referred to them as escorts. Nancy apologizes for her prior behavior after feeling terrible upon hearing this. She then claims to be a whole new person and informs Becky that she has come to see that enjoying yourself is not necessarily a negative thing. She suddenly admits to having a connection with Leo and even urges Becky to hire him. The two enter the hotel room and engage in passionate physical contact in the next scene. The first O or sexual experience Nancy has ever had occurs this time. Nancy informs Leo that this will be their final meeting because she has had all the experiences she wanted throughout their encounter. She does, nevertheless, want to keep their friendship, and he gladly consents. Before the credits roll, Nancy is seen admiring her body in the mirror. She's finally resentful and content after being both for years.